All right, I think we shall begin. Good evening and good morning and good afternoon to all attendees from whichever part of the world you are. My name is Shodhan and I'm a product manager here at Quintype. In the last few months, Quintype has released several features and enhancement on our CMS product called Bold. And what we will do in the next 40 odd minutes is we will present to you a set of 7 to 8 clips. We've chosen to share clips to keep the message concise and to the point. If at any point in time, if any of you have, or if any of you has any questions, please feel free to write it in the Q&A box that is provided to you in the Zoom application. Questions will be answered as and when any of the panelists along with me will have answers to them, and you will see the answers to your questions. If they are not answered as the meeting progresses, we will definitely do our best to answer all the questions towards the end of the meeting, end of the webinar. Okay. Also, we'd like to remind you that we'll be sharing a recording of this entire meeting for those who might have missed, so that you can refer back to it and you can share it with your colleagues as well. Right. This entire presentation will be in the English language, and I think we can begin with the first video. All right, I'm going to share the first video. All right, here we go.
Hi, Bold users. In this video, we're going to talk about the shortcuts available in Bold. Whenever you want to open an item without affecting the current tab, you can do a command click if you're on a Mac, or do a control click if you're on a Windows. Next thing we can look at is our story editor. We can also use keyboard shortcuts to make text decoration. To make a text as bold, we can select the text and press Command B if you are on a Mac, Control B if you are on a Windows. And to make a text as italic, all you have to do is Command I, Control I if you are on a Windows machine. And similarly, for underlining a text, you can use Command U or do a Control U depending on the platform you are in. To strike a text, you can say do Command S. If you want to set a heading size, again from one of these H2 to H6, all you have to do is select the text, and if you can press Command 2 through Command 6, it's like Command 3 sets the H3, Command 4 sets H4, Command 5, Command 6 sets H5 and H6 accordingly. And similarly, if you're on a Windows, you can press Control 2, Control 3 till Control 6 to set the corresponding heading size. If you want to split a content to a next story element, you can place the cursor in front of it and press Shift Enter. That will take the text to the next story element. And if in case you wanted this to go back to the previous text element, you can press Delete or backspace. That will merge it to the previous text element. To create a bullet list, we can select the text and press Command 8. That will give you a unordered or bullet list. And if you want to change this to a numbered list, we can press Command 7. And again Command 8 if you want to change it back to a bullet list. We can create nested lists using keyboard shortcuts. First, I'll make these items into a simple bullet list by pressing Command 8. Now, if I want to move certain items further down the list, like create another nested list with these items, I can press Command closing square bracket. And if I want to move items further down by basically another nested list, again I can do that by selecting the items and pressing Command closing square bracket. And if I want to remove an item or move one level up, I can actually do that by Command open square bracket, like this. To select all the content in a story element, you can press Command A on a Mac or Control A on a Windows. This is the list of all shortcuts that I have used so far in this video.
We'll just pause this for a moment.
We also have made a lot of improvements on the performance and stability of Story Editor. We also expect your feedback, and if there are any other functions that you frequently use, do let us know so that we can actually create corresponding shortcut for that as well to improve your productivity. Thank you.
All right, that was Prabhu from our team. Prabhu is also a panelist over here. And just a reminder that the first set of video clips will be centered around the content writer and will be useful for that persona. The last set of video clips will be useful for administrators or product owners from the publishing house, and it will cater to them, right? Moving on to the next video. It is created by our teammate Nikita, and we'll be sharing it now.
Hi, my name is Nikita. I'm a developer at Quintype. Today I'm going to run you through a few enhancements that Bold has provided. The first one is downloading image to local. As we all know, we have different image actions that are provided on every image. May it be the delete button, the edit button, and the replace. We have another new icon called the download. So when we click on this, a file download will be triggered and an image will be downloaded to your system. Moving on, one might have come across situations where he or she wants to know who has previously modified or edited a story before. Well, to answer that, Bolt has come up with a solution to display the last updated time and user on the top of every story. Like you can see here, the last updated was 4 minutes ago on 26 July 2021 at 2:14 p.m. Clicking on which, this opens a timeline inspector, and this is the current version that we are viewing. The author name, the time, and the current version is displayed here. Speaking of time, this brings me to the next one, that is about the story schedule. When you schedule publish a story, you would want to know the schedule time and date. Now you can find that in the workspace against each story explicitly. Let me show you how. Once I submit the story and publish it, I can click on publish later, and this is the schedule publish, selecting a different date and time and publishing the story. This story will come under the schedule tab. This is the demo test story. The author name and the last updated time will also be shown along with the scheduled time, that is 28 July 2021 at the time that we schedule. By this, you would know that at what time the story is scheduled against each story that will be displayed in the workspace. Enhancements can improve the usability and accessibility of a page. One such boost to the story editor is the control of edit and read only mode at any point of the story. Consider you have opened a long story which is in read only mode. Now, you think there might be a typo here, so you would want to edit it. Instead of scrolling all the way up to find the edit button, now we could just scroll slightly up to find this bar that shows up, and clicking on which you can now edit the story and make changes to this. Slightly scroll up and again stop editing. This has really improved or enhanced the way the story editor works, since you wouldn't want to always move upwards and find the button to either edit now or stop editing. Let us dig a little deeper into the read-only mode. If you are a user who is only visiting the story to take a look at it and not edit it, then you could always choose to stay in read-only mode, just like this. Here, you wouldn't be able to either add any elements or add any new card, just like clicking on this would say you're in read-only mode. Clicking on the text would say you're in read-only mode. Neither could you import a card. Also, when we click on the manage button, all you could do is just view the different sections, attributes, and social, since these elements are all disabled. If you want to edit those fields, clicking on edit now will enable these fields back. So you could either change it or add something, click back to stop editing. This is the same case with all the elements. Right now, since I can edit it, I could also add new elements or delete an element and go back to the read-only mode. Now let us talk about copying tags to SEO metadata fields. A publisher wants the tags that he adds to have their text copied to the SEO metadata tags so that it is easier for the content creators to fill the SEO tags that are added. When I add the tags, their names must be duplicated onto the SEO metadata field also. For example, if I'm adding a tag called test, this should be duplicated in the meta keywords. Also, I should be able to add the SEO metadata irrespective of the copied tags. Just like this. Removing the meta keywords should not remove the tags. Removing test here shouldn't remove the text in the tags, and vice versa. You can also enable the feature by turning on this feature toggle in the settings, configure features that copy tags to metadata keywords. Well, after a lot of talks about the story editor, I have something exciting to tell. Bold is now mobile responsive with both iOS and Android support. It is just one touch away from adding a new story to configuring collections. Using Bold as an application in mobile is hassle-free. You must definitely give it a try. This brings me to the last feature, that is about collections, which is now revamped, and you definitely want to take a look at this bit. Once you click on this content and collections, you would end up in the collections dashboard page where you can see different collections are distributed as small cards across the page. We are under the tab called All, where you can find all the collections. In case you have scheduled any collection, you would find the collection in the Schedule tab. A completely new add-on to this is the Pin tab. If I want to pin this collection called Education, I would click on this Pin button. You can find this under the Pin tab here. And if you do not want this to be in the Pin tab, you could unpin it, which will again bring you back to the All tab. Frequently used collections by a particular users can be pinned for their own convenience. There is also a filter button towards the right of this page, clicking on which you could select the template. Right now, if I select the default template and click on apply, you can see these are the different default templates, and the active filter default is applied here, clearing on which All the other collections will be shown again. This was my bit. Thank you for your time.
All right. If you do have any questions, please write in at the Q&A box. One of the panelists will answer your questions. If it's not immediately answered, we will definitely answer them towards the end of the session. Moving on to the next clip. The next clip will be about video provider integration, some RSS and news sitemap updates, and Bridgekeeper, which is Quintype's authentication service, and updates on that. So we will begin now. Hi, this is Shodhan, and I'm going to show you how to select videos and include them in stories within Bold without having to leave it. To add a new video, the writer will have to add the embed element. And within the embed element, we have now provided a button to choose a video. As you see, the provider here is YouTube, and I can search for a video right here within Bold. I select a video and then move on to save, submit, and publish my story. I can also replace or remove this video with another one. I am now going to show you how to choose another player to choose from. Flow player. The steps are pretty similar. All I have to do is select a video and then use that in the story. Currently, the video provider integration is available only with YouTube and Flow Player. As an administrator, to enable this feature, go to Settings, Integrations, and add integration of YouTube or Flow Player. In this account, I have already added the credentials, and you can see the same once you add them here. The next set of updates are appropriate for people who are adept with SEO or are developers from the publishing house. Quintype has come up with a format of RSS feeds, which is now compatible with GeoNews. The same can be found by going to our REST API documentation and searching for RSS. As you see, we have a new format called GeoNews. This allows the stories that are published using your Quintype platform to be easily accepted in the format that GeoNews accepts. The key difference being the image that was previously not, the image tag which has the image URL which was previously not present. The next update is on the news sitemap. The new sitemap now includes all the images that are included as per the Google News sitemap specification. Both these features are enabled out of the box and need no development change in your website. To submit the new sitemap, you must append /sitemap/news_sitemap.xml to your domain that is hosted on the Quintype platform. Also, the RSS feed updates format is as follows. Just append /stories.rss format equals geo-news. We'll now talk about the updates to Bridgekeeper, which is Quintype's authentication service. Bridgekeeper now allows sign-in with Apple. This is especially useful for mobile apps that need to be submitted to the Apple App Store. Documentation is available in the API docs. As you can see, we have a new login provider called Apple. This update is also available in Malibu, which is our Quintype library. Go to the Malibu documentation and search for Apple. You will find the details here. To enable this, the developers from the publishing house may need to get in touch with Quintype support, and we will help you set it up. The second update is that Bridgekeeper now allows Google's one-tap login. Documentation is available here. All right. We'll move on to the next video clip that is prepared by my colleague Raj, and he'll be talking about the image import, the automated image import. Let me just play it right away.
Hi, I am Raj. I'm a developer at Quintype, and today in this video we are going to talk about our bulk image import feature. It's a paid feature and needs to be individually set up for your account. Now, let me tell you how this feature came into being. How many times have you had to go through your Dropbox looking for the images you need for your story? And then go through the tedious process of downloading these images and re-uploading them back to our CMS. But with this feature, we say no more. With this feature, we enable you to have your images be uploaded in one place, and they will be available directly in the media gallery and your stories. Now, let's talk about how to use this feature. Once the setup is done for your account, you'll receive a pair of credentials and some more details. This is how the credentials are going to look like. In order to transfer the images, we recommend using an FTP client, for example, CyberDuck. You can download it from their website cyberduck.io. After installing CyberDuck, you'll have to create and save a connection in order to upload your images to our CMS. And here's how to do it. First, we'll go to bookmarks and create a new one. I've removed all the pre-filled configurations so that I can walk you through how to configure it by yourself. Firstly, you'll take the server name and paste it here. You can also give it any nickname you want. Let's name it Vineet Bulk Image. Next, you can take the access key and put it here. Again, you would have to take the secret key and paste it in this field. Then copy the path we have provided and paste it here. After that, close this window. Double click on this bookmark in order to connect to our S3. And here's the folder that's configured for your account. Here you can upload all the images you need in the CMS. Let's try to upload these images to our CMS. We'll wait for these images to get uploaded. Once the images are uploaded, You can go back to Bold and refresh the tab. As you can see, some of the images are already showing up on the media gallery. Let's open up one of them, and here you can see we also extract some of the metadata from the image, for example caption and attribution. A quick pro tip: in advanced search, if you add image import as the author name and apply the search based on that, you'll see only the images uploaded by this feature. And that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching.
All right, that was the automated bulk image import feature. We'll move on to the forms feature and a quick video and a clip about submitting, building, and accepting submissions for forms.
Hello, my name is Swati Goyal. I'm a QA at Quintype. In this video, we're going to talk about forms powered by Form.io as an integrated feature in Bold and how you as a publisher can make use of them. Bold integration with Form.io allows publishers to build forms and receive responses to the forms within Bold. This is used by publications to engage with their audience, run campaigns, and surveys. Since the traditional role of media publication is predominantly one way, that is, from a publisher to the consumers, forms allow the audience to communicate with the publisher. It enables publications to build a two-way connection with their readers or for citizen journalism. Building forms is a very simple process. Like you create stories in the story editor, you can create forms in the form editor. In order to access the page, you need to navigate to the side menu bar and click on Forms button. This Forms button will only appear in the navigation once the form feature is enabled by your admin and you have the right permissions. There are two ways you can add a form, either by clicking on this button or you can select this button from the header. This is the typical form dashboard. So it lists all the forms which are in draft or published state according to their updated at time. There are a list of actions like you can delete a draft form or you can retract or export the submissions for a published form. It lists 20 forms at once and then it's an infinite scroll after that. As you can see, I'm on the forms page. I will type in some title here. The title can be in English language or it can be in any vernacular language or any language that your website supports. In case of a vernacular language or a language other than English, you need to type in this slug explicitly in English language. And you need to save it explicitly as well. Since forms page does not have an autosave. This is what the Form.io widget looks like. You can search for fields and you can drag and drop these fields into the form. You can access the settings from this button. It opens this page. You can change the settings, you can change the name of the label, you can add validations. Suppose you don't want a name to be of length more than say 50 or something like that, you can do that. You can remove this field and you can customize the form according to as per the options available. Now as you can see, I have added a file upload option here. So when your audience or your reader uploads any file, it gets added to the S3 bucket, which has a public access. Now I've created this form here with two more fields, name and description, and a file upload field, and I've published this form. Now we have integrated this forms feature with our Malibu library. It is still not integrated with page builder or ahead, so the CSS styling is still not done. So it looks like this with the default styling which Form.io provides. The route to access forms is /forms/ the slug of the form. The fields look like this. Your readers can submit their details and they can upload the file. Some images, PDF files, docs. I can show you the accepted values. So you go to the settings, and in the file you can see all these extensions added here. These are the default extensions. You can customize them as per your need. You can also provide a minimum or maximum file size. Now there is another feature for submissions. Once I've added my data as a reader, I can submit this form to the publisher. And how a publisher will receive the data is via email. To get the submissions, we have some default email list added here per form. So these names that you see here, I did not add them explicitly. So I can add them as part of, or your admin can add them as part of the settings here. You can save it. Then every new feature, every new form that you create, you will be able to see this updated list there. But for the existing forms, the old list will still be applicable. Now you can delete things from here and you can add additional email IDs here as per your team specific forms. Now since I submitted this form, I have received the email here and I can see all the fields and the data added by the user. I can click on this file and I can see the file, and it is in the S3 bucket. Now there are certain actions that you can perform on the form. You can retract the form, so it will be removed from your front-end website, or you can take this form's link and you can embed that in your story as a link. You can delete the form or you can export the submissions in the form of a CSV, and it will download the file into your local system with the data submitted by the reader. There is also one more feature which is not built yet as part of form feature, where you can close a form. So it will still show up in your website, but no one will be able to submit any new data onto the form. So that's pretty much what we had for the forms feature. As a technical note, you can access the documentation to integrate forms with your front-end website. You can access the Malibu documentation, which tells you which APIs to use for the forms and what kind of route you can use to access the forms on your website. CSS can be built by the front-end developers of your website. And if you want to know more about how the components in the form widget works, you can access Form.io website and you can access the page how it works and how you can create more powerful forms within Bold.
All right. Just a reminder, please do not hesitate to ask your questions in the Q&A box. That will be the only way of communication for this webinar. We will move on to the next video where we will talk about webhooks, and my colleague Akshay has prepared this video, which I will share right now.
Hi, my name is Akshay, and I'll be presenting to you the recently enhanced webhooks feature in Bold. To find webhooks in Bold, click on Settings and go to Webhooks. We developed the Outbound Webhooks feature to allow you to notify third-party applications or systems when various editorial workflow events occur in Bold. Editorial teams can use this with multiple applications, communication apps like Slack, task management apps like Trello or Asana, and various print publication applications. This configuration page allows you to add, edit, or delete webhooks. You can add a webhook by clicking this button and enter a URL. This URL is the URL at which you will be notified when one of the trigger events occurs. You can optionally also add a secret. A secret allows you to confirm that the notification you received on your URL originated from Bold and contains the content that was submitted by Bold originally. We can select, for example, the story approve trigger event and save the webhook. Once the webhook is saved, we can test it out. We can take a demo story and approve it. Once the story is approved, a webhook notification will be sent to the URL, Bold Webhook Demo in this case, with information about your story. The webhook notification also contains a web XQT signature. This XQT signature is generated from the contents of the payload as well as the secret that you entered in the configuration page. You can use the secret and the contents along with the signature to ensure that these contents are correct. The payload will contain various information regarding the story, when it was updated, who it was updated by, what the status of the story is, its headline, its cards, and so on and so forth. After a trigger has occurred and you have received a notification, you can also go to the webhooks page and view the logs. When you view the logs, you will be able to see one log entry for each trigger of this webhook. In this case, we can see that the webhook was triggered successfully with an HTTP status of 200. If there was an error, we would get a different HTTP status, for example, 500 in red. You also get an event ID. This corresponds with the same event ID that you receive in the payload of the webhook. You can use it to match any given payload with the log entry in the log table. This resource ID corresponds to either the story ID in this case or collection ID in the case of a collection. The title of the story, the name of the event, and when the event happened are also shared with you in this table. From the webhooks configuration page, you can also turn a webhook on or off, and you can choose to delete a webhook. Please note that the URL for each webhook must be unique.
All right, that was a bit about webhooks. We will move on to the next video. We have just 2 more videos to go. So next one will be about subscriptions of particular categories or sections, as we call it in Quintype. And my colleague Sriram, who had created this clip, I'm going to just share the video prepared by Sriram.
Hi, my name is Sriram. I am a developer at Quintype. In this video, we will see how to configure story subscriptions based on section. Let's start with Bold. Bold is our story editor application. I am logging into the app. To check different sections available, let's navigate to Manage Sections As you can see, sports is an top level section and it has child sections like badminton, cricket, Olympic sports, etc. The next step is to tag stories under these sections. I have created two sample stories. One is related to cricket and other is related to Olympics. Let's check the first one. So in this one, we have tagged the section as cricket sports and the access level is set to subscription. Now this means only an user who has a valid subscription can actually view the story. Now let's check the second one. Now in this story, we have tagged the section as Olympic sports and also the access level is set to subscription. Now let's check Accesstype. Accesstype is an application to manage subscriptions and their pricing. I am navigating to groups and plan, manage. This will list down different subscription group. Subscription group is a collection of different subscription plan. So edit. This will list down different subscription plans. I have created two subscription plans for this demo. The first one gives access to sports for 1 month and the second one gives access to cricket for 1 month. Click on edit. Now in this screen we can change name, description, duration of a subscription plan, its pricing, and also the condition to match stories for this plan. Click on edit. The type of this condition is story section and the value is sports. Now this means this plan is applicable only to stories which is tagged under sports section. Now let's check the second subscription plan. All access to cricket for 1 month. The condition of this plan is cricket sports. Now this means this plan is applicable to stories only which is tagged under cricket sports. Now let's check users who will be actually subscribing to these plans. I have created two sample users. The first user is actually subscribed to all access for cricket for 1 month. And the second user is subscribed to all access to sports for 1 month. Now that means the first user will have access only to cricket. The second user will have access to the entire sports section. Now let's move on to front end. Since I have not logged in yet, I don't have access to both the story. So this is the story under cricket and this is the story under Olympic. So now let's log in as user who has access to cricket. As you can see, now I have access to the cricket story, but still I don't have access to the story under Olympic. Now let's log in as the user who has access to the entire sports section. As you can see, Now I can see the story under Olympic, and I can also see the story under cricket. So this concludes the demo of story subscriptions based on sections. Thanks for watching.
All right, the last video, we have one last video which talks about the consumer search and filter. I'll be sharing it now. Here is a demonstration of the consumer's search and filter enhancement that was released last month. Consumers is an entity which is applicable to websites or front-end Quintype front-end websites which have subscribers or sign-in option. All those users who are logged into the front end are called as consumers within Bold. As part of this enhancement, the Bold user has an ability to search for a user and figure out when the user was created or when the user signed up on the front-end website. Additionally, I can apply filters and then click on send report. By default, I can also send a report of all the users, and when I click this button, an email will be sent to the administrators using which the CSV report can be downloaded. To enable this feature, please get in touch with Quintype support. All right, so that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you, attendees, for your time. We will now go through the questions that were posted by the attendees. To see the list of answered questions, please go to the Answered tab. All right, I'm going to take the question about the Facebook video links are not accepted. So it's a feature that is picked up right now. So you can expect Facebook video links to be identified as video elements especially while publishing video stories. In addition to the video, so currently we have YouTube and Flow Player as video providers. Additionally, we'll be supporting many more in the future. We are currently working on Dailymotion. I think, in fact, it might have gone live today. So Dailymotion as a video provider is now available. You will have received that feature on your Bold instance. I'm not able to understand the question. Does breaking news also change? If Jitendra can please, if you could reword it, maybe that will help. So to give a quick introduction, breaking news is a feature which will allow you to publish a piece of news immediately to your audience. At the same time, we can trigger a push notification while that message is being sent. Breaking news is also useful to link to an existing story that is already published, but which doesn't make sense. So breaking news is typically used to just publish news faster. In the new update of Quintype, does the courtesy appear on the extreme right below the image in any of the article? I think earlier it used to appear immediately after the caption of the image. I'm not sure I understand that, Saloni.
Is that a question related to the front end? Like the way it appears on the website?
Possibly. Okay. So to Saloni's question, maybe if you can reword it, are you talking about the image courtesy or the caption and attribution, which is displayed on the website or in bold? Maybe if you could clarify that, please. Jitender, breaking news, but if it does not work, Jitender, you can please write to support@quintype.com. We'll be able to take care of that. Breaking news works. In some cases, it might have stopped working due to some configuration changes, but or it might not have been working in the past. So we will please write to support@quintype.com, and someone from our team will help you. All right. So Rashmi, I think Saloni clarified.
Yeah. So I think that would be more, not sure what kind of website you have. Is it a page builder one or a custom front end one? That will be dependent on the front site. So if it is page builder, then we'll have to look at the layout options, maybe, if that's what you're talking about, Saloni.
Yeah. Right. I think Akshay will be answering the use of webhooks. All right, I'll take the answer by Ashfaq. Ashfaq, so currently with respect to audio files, Bold has an integration with Amazon Poly. What that will do is Bold will do the work of generating the audio files or making that API call to AWS Amazon Poly, and that audio link will be available in the story response or the stories API call as a link. All right, that can be used. To handle audio, we have the ability to create audio templates or any custom template. If that helps identify audio story, maybe that will work. All right. Ashwak, I hope that answers your question. If not, please write to us at support@quintype.com. I will take this last question by Jitender. Yeah. All right. Jitender's question is about the listicle, right? So listicle, news elsewhere, review and interview are story templates. They are used for different purposes, like and it depends on how the website designers, or let's say if you want to design your website, you can decide to display a listicle in a certain way. It's a article, but also made of a list. Like an interview will have a Q&A, a review will have a star rating, and so on, right? So we allow these different sorts of templates so that the front end or the website application can refer to the fields or refer to the information provided in bold and decide to display it in appropriate ways. So yeah, so that is the use. For more information, you can visit our website, or you can write to us at support, and someone from our team will clarify your question. Is there any option to choose a default element for a template? There should be. I might have to get back to you, Ashfaq, on that question. But I will. We'll probably we'll take that question offline, and I will write to Ashwak.
I think what you're asking, Ashwak, is if I create a custom story template, if I can set one as default, right? As some element as a default element. If that is the question, then we'll get back to you. We'll check and we'll get back to you.
Okay, that brings us to the end of this webinar. Thank you to each of your attendees. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for the questions. I hope this was useful. You will all get a copy, and all the people who have registered will also get a link to view the video of this. So thank you for your time, and have a good day.